here because I bought your book, and I'm like, where? Oh, it's in my library. I put it. It's in a middle display. So any children that come, they're gonna pick up the book. Yes, the beautiful art. What? Yeah. A door made for me. A door made for me. Yes, beautiful illustrations. Just chef's kiss. And of course, I Take My Coffee Black, one of the best audiobooks I have ever listened to. Before we went to break, we were talking about your relationship. And, in the Black community, we have these kind of like notions about people who date and marry outside of the race. We have these feelings, especially if it's somebody that we might like and fancy ourselves, and there's a automatic kind of de facto cancellation, except for maybe Harry Belafonte and maybe even him. I don't know. Sidney Poitier, maybe Quincy Jones. I don't know. Tyler, how do you feel? How do you feel about that? Was this a consideration, or you didn't even factor it in?
I gotta be real clear. You need to know. I have conversations with my Black brothers about there's certain Black women that if we thought they were dating like white dudes, we wouldn't know what to do with ourselves. Like we just wouldn't know what. And I'm gonna drop a couple names. Nia Long is one of them.
I was gonna say Nia Long. So you rather her be with a philandering ass, disrespectful mother freaker than a white dude that might treat her well?
No, I did not say that. What I'm saying though is if she showed up with a white dude, I would kind of tilt my head for a minute. But I mean but hear me though. That's me, and my girlfriend's white. But I'm just kind of amening to the culture of who we are though. You know what I'm saying? There's just certain things that you're like Tay Diggs, white chick. Denzel, nah. I'd be like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And this is me. But so all of that to say though, with no questions asked, as a 46-year-old dude, the who has become much more important than the what someone looks like to me. And I really mean that. And I think you brought up a really good point before the break as far as family, as far as history. My family is from a deep, deep Southern Black little town called Utah, Alabama. But I'll tell you this, my mama has been bringing her like white friends and all of that into Utah for years. My family, my dark, Black, deep family, if they look at you and they get the thumbs up from you inside the family, you are a part of it. It's like being Italian, right? If we give the thumbs up, we're like, come, welcome. You are a part of this. And thank God I have a family like that, because I know that's not the rest of the world. But hey, listen, if I brought home Nia Long tomorrow, first of all, my dad would high five me. Secondly, we would be happy. But in the same way, I'm going to point out where my parents just want me to be, happy at this age. Yeah. And I love them for it.
And that should be the due north for everything. I feel like, in our culture, because of the history in this country, it becomes like it's more than just who you love. It's like you're just making a statement about, us, yeah. So listen, I always knew, by the way, and it's like, I don't care one way or the other, because I want Tyler Merritt to be happy no matter what. But I do notice like there's a dismissive way that we treat people, and like, okay, and we shouldn't. So you want to take some calls? As long as you're happy, I'm happy. Let's
do it. All
right, let's go to.
I love you for diving in and not hesitating to talk about it. I knew it'd come up at some point that my girlfriend's white. It was going to happen at some point.
Was it? I mean, yeah. Okay. It ain't have to.
I'm a friend of the show now too much to not like lean in.
All right, yeah. Barry and Callie. Barry.
Hey, Karen.
Hey.
Karen, I know you can hear me.
Yes.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you.
Yo, my microphone said, I think my microphone's a little bit jumpy, but I'm gonna see if I can get through this. When I was living in New York, I met this Italian girl, right? I didn't even know she was interested in me. Next thing you know, she invites herself to me and my group little pool hangout. And another friend of mine, a white friend of mine, thought she was there for him. Turns out she was there for me. So I got a whirlwind of an education dealing with this girl. Oh, my God. Everything. Hello, Tyler, first of all.
What's up?
Hey, Karen, I love you both.
Thank you.
Love you both. Yeah, she the first Christmas we were together, she said that she wanted me to meet her sister. I guess I had to get the stamp of approval from her sister. Now, I'm a guy from Brooklyn. I was born and raised.
All right, but let me ask you, hold on, because we got limited time. I want to get my what to watch list in. I don't think Tyler could stay. And he's here for the first hour. But if he could stay for 15 more minutes, take more calls, that'd be great. But Barry, she's Italian from New York.
No, she's from Cranston, Rhode Island.
Okay, I mean, but she's an East Coast Italian. That's not the same as a white person. I'm just gonna say culturally, she ain't really white. Not white. You know what I'm saying? There's levels to this white thing. That ain't the same, Barry. Now her family may be way more racist than the average white person because their proximity to Negroes is very close, and they want to make sure I'm not down with that, with the M words, but it's culturally very similar to us, really, Barry. So it ain't much different. But go ahead, tell your story.
I think the question was more about what happens when you bring them home. Wasn't that the question?
Yes. Well, so what happened?
That was the question. So when I brought her home, very educated, my mom was like, "Okay, where you get the white girl from?" My nephews, they were like, they accepted. They didn't give any problems, but she felt very uncomfortable being there. Very uncomfortable being there, right? Even though she never shied away from a visit. She was definitely out of her pond. Definitely out of her scope of things. But weirdly enough, when I went to meet her family, her brother-in-law was an attorney, her sister was an attorney, and I was under the microscope. It was like it snowed that Christmas in Cranston, Rhode Island, and it was whiter than white. It was the whitest Christmas I ever had. But I got to say that I learned a lot during that process, more than I thought I would. Right. And it wasn't just like at the end of the day, people are people. And if you can relate to people as people, then that's where you get ahead. And that's where she and I was. Right. But ultimately, I think that the weight of our interracial relationship weighed more on her and her community than it did on mine.
Black folk accept people as much as we talk that talk. By and large, come on in. We're going to feed you, give you some greens or whatever, some cornbread. Let's go. We tend to we ain't going to burn no cross on your lawn. You're not going to get, white people go home, scrawled on your garage. We're not going to play no white people, music to run you out of your home if you move it. And you're like, we're pretty accepting.
Karen, let's say this. Barry, thanks for the call, man, and the honesty and all of that. But I want to say, I think that's systematic, though, a little bit, too, Karen. We, as Black people, have been forced to deal with people. We have been forced to, figure it out. We don't have a Wakanda to rest in here in the United States where we can just go, it's just us. And so when people come into our world, they just need to deal. We're forced every single day. We don't have the privilege to just have a white person show up and all of us just be like, nah, screw you. We don't do that around here. You know what I mean?
I don't even think that's in our nature, though. I just don't think culturally, we may talk all this talk, white people, this and that. Okay, usually because for us, there's no, for a so-called white person to bring a Black person into their world, there's going to be scrutiny that could oust them from whiteness.
Right.
We ain't getting ousted from nothing.
Right.
So there's no harm in acceptance, so we accept. All right, you ready for my what to watch list? I'm going to take some calls when we come back from the break, but I want to get this list in. I want y'all. All right, Smith. I'm sorry, Stephanie, hit it.
And now, it's time for Karen Hunter's what to watch list.
All right, it's my top 5, Tyler Merritt, and so every week I'm telling you what I'm watching, and at number 5. No, there we go. First Wives Club, Jill Scott. My good friend Deborah Cox is in this season. We saw her in the last season. Season 3 kicks off my girl Michelle Buteau, who will be playing me in my TV depiction of my life. That's who I'm choosing, Michelle Buteau, to play me. Season 3, First Wives Club. It is stupid and hilarious. And in this season, Jill Scott is getting married, but we know it's going to be a disaster. So, we've seen her through. It's ratchet. It's a little ratchet, but I love it. So
you got us all with Jill Scott. Name something Jill Scott has ever been a part of that has not been perfect, ever.
I probably could think of some things, but I won't. All right. Number 4, because Tyler Merritt. R.I.P.D. Rest in Peace, D. Detectives. Season 2. Season 2. It's a movie on Netflix. Hilarious. The undead. People being, I'm not even going to give it away. I watched the first, it's not a season, the first movie. This is part 2. If you like, ghoulish things, like I love Interview with a Vampire, and the next thing that I'm about to talk about, Walking Dead and all these things. I love this stuff. If you like that stuff, you're going to like this. R.I.P.D.
I didn't realize
part 2.
Part 2. I didn't realize.
There's a part 2. Netflix came out today. I started watching. I was like, okay, y'all. Yes. Number 3. Really smart. Fleischman's in Trouble. Hulu.
What? Is that out already?
It is out. Came out today. Claire Danes, Lizzie Kaplan, Jesse Eisman. And I was gonna bring it up because the relationships, he's newly divorced, and it's a series. Hulu, by the way, y'all are fast becoming like my favorite go-to.
Hulu's killing it. Hulu is killing it. And I didn't know that came out yet, but it seems like the show is about looking at relationships from different aspects, right?
Yes. So it's going to be his version, and then Claire Danes' version. Lizzie Kaplan's involved in it. All great actors, by the way. Well done. It's a series, and I just started watching episode 1. So there's that. At number 2, and not number 2, Yellowstone, which could be my number 1, but ain't enough Black people in it. That's it.
Don't get me started. Last show I was on, I was wearing a Yellowstone shirt, and nobody said anything about it. But I didn't notice it. My shirt said just doing cowboy shit, Yellowstone. That's all it said.
Come on. Well, I'm deep in right now. They're doing a whole backstory. First episode. This is season 5. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is.
Oh my goodness.
Just say, Aaron, I know you got place to be. Y'all stop messing around not watching Yellowstone. That is arguably one of the best shows on television right now. There's a reason why everybody's watching.
And you know what's bad? Kevin Costner, I shouldn't like him because he's on the wrong side. I think politically on the wrong side, but I can't. I'm like, this is messing with me politically. So we're going to talk more about that, because at number 1, I'm looking at the clock. Number one, The Walking Dead, the very last episode of the series, the whole thing, the finale is this weekend. Walking Dead's number 1. I've been with them from day 1. So we're going to talk about that when we come back. We got to go. We'll be right back